All right, people, here we rock and rolling on a beautiful March 7th. Apologies for a little bit of the delay. We're taking the show on the road, coming at you live from Lake Country this morning. But I'm excited for this morning, a few organizational updates for the group to share, along with I could use your help. And then finally, we're going to go through, our kind of normal stuff that we update, but we're going to have a conversation with 4 folks that attended family reunion to continue our theme. So this week's theme is taking some actionable and implementable nuggets from those that are doing the business of what they took away from their time at family reunion. Now, next week, I would highly encourage you to tune in as well, because next week, I'm going to give you the model in which you should be following in order to navigate the storm step by step of what you should be thinking about from leads, listings, and leverage. Make sense? Beautiful. So mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. One of the things I wanted to hone into this week is to build careers worth having, and talk a little bit about organizational structure and different things, and where some change that's happening. And we view change as a strategy, not a threat. And with that, I'm going to give a shout out to Sydney Warner. Sydney Warner's been with us for the last 2-ish years. Sid the Kid, as I call her, came to us from Keller Williams down in Chicago, has worked really closely across all 3 locations with Britt, with Caitlin, pouring into our group, helping us run a lot of effective agent engagement, a lot of our training and education, helping in with accelerator and launch programs. And Sid and I have had a lot of dialogues and discussions about what her life and career and what she wants to do personally and professionally. And Sid, ever since she came out of school, has only known real estate. And as also a family member and a sister-in-law, here's the thing. A lot of you know this who know me well. My standards and expectations are really high. And if you're a family member, they're almost unattainable. Okay. And I push family members probably harder than anybody, because I am very, very self-aware and sensitive to the perception of nepotism, right? And making sure that we're pushing people to deliver on what you guys expect from an agent experience. And I got to give a shout out to Sid, because she showed up every single day, no matter what I threw at her, or how the expectations I had for her, or the standards in which I held for her. I think sometimes were unfair and unattainable, but I also think it set her up for success as a butterfly to spread her wings, to find a new frontier and a new gig. And so with that, Sid is going to be here and there throughout the rest of the month, helping us as we transition her roles and responsibilities as she enters into a new phase of her career in the event planning space and business. So she's going to take a lot of her organizational skills and what she has done and learned through the real estate space, also from a sales side as well as more of a leadership side. And she's shifting into a new career, which I encouraged as we were having a lot of these discussions personally one-on-one. When you've only done one thing, as young as Sid is, it's time for Sid the Kid to fly the coop and learn a new way and figure out what it is that she wants out of this life, and what she wants to do to build a career worth having. And so, Sid, I just wanted to say on behalf of the group, thank you for, first of all, putting up with me. Thanks for putting up with me. I appreciate it. So, having said all that, we also are super excited to announce a replacement. This is someone who I've known for a long time. It's actually someone that I've been in a conversation with for about 2.5 years about what it may look like for her to someday enter into our world. Carolyn has an incredible background. For those of you who recognize the last name, she comes from an incredibly deep lineage within the real estate space. And I'll give you a little bit of a background, and then I'm going to allow her to jump on to give her a little bit of her story. Carolyn's grandfather used to own and operate the old Federated Realty in Milwaukee. Her father is Ned Pertel, who owns and operates Founders 3, one of the biggest commercial brokerages, not only in the state of Wisconsin, but nationally across the country. And Carolyn comes to us from a diverse experience of running various different sales and marketing organizations across her career. Attended the SMU University down in Dallas, has lived in Denver, lived in downtown Chicago, and is now coming back to the Milwaukee area and is excited to jump in as she evolves her career and jump in with us. So Carolyn, with that, I'm flipping it over to you to give the group a little bit of an insight as to who you are and what you're about.
Thank you, Charlie. Good morning. My name is Carolyn. I'm from the Milwaukee area, and as Charlie shared, my family has some deep real estate roots, and I myself never really thought I would, be a real estate broker or work for a real estate company. And when I moved back to Milwaukee in 2019, late 2019, before everything kind of got crazy, I was searching for a job, and I was previously working at a smaller marketing and sales like ad agency. And I learned a lot there, but as I was learning a lot there, I had some conversations with family members, and I was like, I really want to work for a real estate company. I think it'd be, really fun and exciting. I grew up around it, and I've just always found it super interesting. So as I started talking to Charlie 2 years ago, I was just really excited about the potential opportunity. And he reached out earlier this year, and I was like, oh, wow, this is, very serendipitous. I was ready to take the next step in my career and, potentially pursue something in real estate. So this just really worked out timing wise. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm really passionate about working with salespeople, I'll say, supporting them and making sure that they're successful. So that's something I'm really, really enjoy and I'm passionate about. I'm really excited to work with all of you and meet you guys, work with new agents coming to the organization. Outside of work, I love cooking and exploring restaurants, more so eating at restaurants, not so much cooking, but fun to, try new places in Milwaukee, explore downtown. I love to travel. I've been to some cool places, love experiencing different cultures. I like to walk the lakefront with my dog as well. So anyways, thank you, Charlie and Mandy, for bringing me here. I'm really excited, and I'm excited to work with you guys. So thank you.
Cool. Guys, I'm incredibly excited to bring you guys a new talented leader to our leadership team, and she'll be working across function of different locations. She sits in the North Shore, but just as Sydney did in the background, while you may not have seen it, she worked with Lake Country. She worked in innovation. Karen will be doing the same. And I would also be remiss if I forgot to mention, a part of her lineage as well is her aunt Ellen Pertel, who is an agent, who is a Keller Williams agent in the North Shore office, incredibly successful, is also a part of her family. So it's one of those that she's never been in the real estate space, but yet I expect, similar to myself when I wasn't in the real estate space, the learning curve should be pretty steep, and I expect her to learn it fast, knowing she comes from a deep history and background of the real estate space. And we're excited to bring her to we're excited for her to have her join our leadership team. So feel free to reach out, and looking forward for you guys to have the opportunity to get to know her in person as you're in and around the offices and she's around the events. Cool. All right. With that, I also have a little bit of a favor and a little bit of hey, if you're utilizing the space on the weekends, if you could just do me a favor and make sure that you lock up and turn the lights on. I've noticed it, whether it's out in Heartland, not so much in Tosa. The Tosa crew has been very good, but I've noticed it a little bit in Heartland, where we have doors open and lights on at night. And there's a very inviting apartment complex right behind us, and we want to make sure that all of our stuff is secured and safe. So if you're in the spaces after hours, I would please that you ask that you please make sure that you lock up, close the doors behind you, make sure that the lights are off. I drove past the Whitefish Bay office at 11:30 on a Saturday night, and Willis was in there turning off the lights at 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Here's the other thing, and I even hate that I have to bring this up, but I think it's comes from a place of integrity. In the last month, we've had about 1,000 stamps taken from front desks. And it doesn't seem like a lot when you take 55-cent stamps, but when you take 200 of them at a time, and it's just a net loss to the bottom line. I just say like, really? So I bring it up as a way to say, like, I never thought I've never had to address this before in the 7 years of doing this. But if you need a stamp, just ask. Like, we're not afraid to give it to you. But when we show up on a Monday morning and there's 200 stamps taken from the front desk, like, it also makes us question, like, what the heck? We're incredibly giving and we're happy to give things away, but it just doesn't feel right when it happens behind your back. So that may sound really petty, but it also makes me think about the morals and ethics and of the ways in which people run and operate their business. And if that's the way they show up here, how does it show up within their clients? And guess what? I'm in the business of helping people. So if you need help, just reach out to me. We're here to do it. Cool. Again, I hate to even have to mention that, but just wanted to bring it up. With that, I'm flipping it over for Lindsay around direct mail campaigns and owning the neighborhood.
Morning, everybody. All right, so we are continuing on with our theme of the month, which is own the neighborhood. Last week was all around how to target a specific neighborhood using Facebook ad campaigns. And this week we are going over direct mail campaigns in Command. And so this is one of probably my favorite pieces of the platform. The fact that there's no minimum order required for a direct mail campaign. You can literally order one postcard if you want to. They're as low as 68 cents per postcard. So that's not just the postcard, it includes literally everything. It includes printing, distribution, postage, and the address labels. So the moment that you hit send through the Command platform, you're done. It takes care of everything else for you. You can also schedule these campaigns up to 2 weeks in advance. So if you have a closing scheduled next week and you just want to prepare for it and schedule out this postcard so that you don't have to do it on that day, you can do so. So again, you can schedule them up to 2 weeks in advance. You can also target your database or choose a radius. And again, that's super helpful if you're sending a just listed, just sold postcard. You don't have to pull those addresses in the MLS. You can literally enter in your property address and pull 200, 150 addresses surrounding that property address. In addition, you have advanced targeting options. So if you're looking to get more specific and really hone in on certain properties that you're targeting, you can target by either single or multifamily homes. Condos are also included in that. The great thing about this is if you want to get really specific and you want to target homes that maybe haven't sold in a while, you can do so by that year last sold for. You can also do year built and a price that the home sold as well. So really specific targeting and just a great way to really hone in on a neighborhood and become that neighborhood expert when you are farming an area. So again, this is all done within Command. Next slide, Charlie. We've got some new postcard options. So the Milwaukee Brewers season is just right around the corner. So if you're looking to send that baseball schedule out, it is now available. And like all of these, they're available as a direct mail postcard, an email smart plan in Command, and a social media post. So if you're looking to send the postcards and you want the back of that postcard customized, just reach out to me and I will get that customized with your headshot and your contact information. And we also have links on our website with all of our marketing assets that include all of the most recent postcards. If you just need that image file to share on social media, those are in there as well. And then we've got one more. Daylight savings time is this Sunday. So if you want to remind your database, so next slide, we have that as an option as well. So if you want to send that email, share it on social media, we've got that available as well as a marketing asset. Next slide. So again, the marketing mastermind this week is how to send that direct mail campaign through Command. So we're going to walk through from start to finish, how you upload that postcard, how do you target your database? How do you target using a radius? And then that advanced targeting option as well. So we'll go through from start to finish how to configure that campaign. And then moving into the open house playbook, the last couple trainings this month. And we're going to break that up into 2 parts. So we're going to cover that entire open house playbook from start to finish, how to choose the property, how to determine what neighborhood you're holding that open house in, and then how to follow up with those leads. So that'll be a 2-parter. And again, those are Thursdays at 11 on Zoom. Next slide. And if you're looking for all of those KW playbooks, scan the QR code on here. That'll get you access to all of our family reunion resources, including the playbooks. And again, these are on our website. There's a link on there for Family Reunion 2023 under the resources tab. And then finally, I think I have one more slide. Our website has been updated with our 2023 preferred vendor partners. So this is a new program this year that Britton Keck put together. So hats off to Britton on putting this all together. And if you're looking for that list of our preferred vendor partners, you'll see that partners tab on our website. And this includes a list of all of our partners, links to their websites, any resources provided by them. So it's all compiled into this, this one page on our website. So go check it out.
Vranek, appreciate it. With that, I'm flipping it over to Lieutenant Steph, who's got some compliance updates.
Morning, guys. I hope to be super quick for you this morning. So now that we are back into the competitive offer landscape, we just wanted to point out some reminders, some pro tips, professional courtesies as it relates to how we are receiving offers, multiple offers as listing agents, and then offer writing as buyer's agents. So listing agents. So if it's part of your plan, we know we've got a hot property to push off offer presentation to like a Sunday night, a certain time and day. We just want to make sure that we are including in our private remarks when we are loading the data into MLS that we are including that the seller reserves the right to accept any offer at any time. I just need to remind everybody too that sellers are able to accept an offer even if it's before that proposed date that we're communicating that we're presenting offers. So then listing agents, please have a system in place for rejecting remaining offers. You know, the expectation to make sure that we are presenting the other offers and providing that evidence to the buyer's agents, that expectation is there. We want to make sure that we are having our sellers initial any rejected offers and that we are emailing those. You don't have to do it that same night, but make sure that within the next 24 hours, we are getting and communicating those rejected offers to the other buyer's agents out there. Then this is a big one for me. Please make sure to call or communicate with buyer's agents about an accepted offer prior to marking it active with offer in MLS. There's nothing worse than a buyer seeing an accepted offer come through in MLS before they were communicated that their offer was rejected. So please just make sure that you're communicating to buyer's agents of the rejected offer, then marking it in MLS accepted offer. Buyer's agents. Again, when we're writing offers and we are omitting inspection contingencies, please make sure to go one step further and include verbiage in the offers that explicitly states that the buyers are hereby waiving the inspection contingency. We need to see that language in our offers for, insurance purposes. So, and then buyer's agents, just a reminder that we've got the GMAR addendum AC, those additional contingencies that we went over a couple of weeks ago when it was rolled out. We want to keep our language consistent. So it's a great tool. The language is consistent across the board now. So in our marketplace, it's fantastic. So that's really all I have. Thank you.
Beautiful. Lieutenant, appreciate it. Here's what I also will tell you guys. When you need help, raise your hand. You know how I know? When productivity goes down is the way in which that we're seeing the market. What goes up? Drama. Drama goes up when productivity goes down. And drama equates to litigation. It creates to co-broke situations. It creates DSPS issues. It creates GMAR issues. And I want you to hear this directly from me. You are not alone. We are here to protect you, and we are on your team. So when you have those issues, don't feel as if you have to attack them alone. Reach out to myself, Mandy, Deej, Josh, Steph, Joan, anybody on the leadership team, and we are here to protect you and your license. Sound good? Beautiful. All right. I'm going to quickly run through training and events, and then we're going to get into the key takeaways from family reunion. So upcoming this week, keeping organized with Katie Hart is this morning in Lake Country at 10:30, right after this team meeting. And then on Thursday at 1 p.m., Deej is going to go throughout in Lake Country as well, a deep dive into DISC personalities and understanding personalities as to how you mirror and match when you're working with clients or co-brokes. And then lastly, on Friday at 10 a.m., Maureen and Friends, which is the invite only group. Maureen and Friends, Maureen is having a conversation with Jay Schmidt all around thinking back to the 7-8 years ago when he first started his business and he left corporate America, how he went from 15 million to 50 million in 1 year. What were the people? What were the systems? What were the models? And we're going back to what he did, not what he does today. So they're going to go back to a conversation around how Jay helped scale his business, the people he put in place, the systems, the models, and everything that he implemented as to what was important then. Not so much around what it is today and how he operates his team, because the scale in which he operates is a unicorn. So we're going to go backwards to think about what it is that he did to help him build the scale to where he is today. And that's Friday at 10 a.m. for Maureen and Friends. Cool. We talked about Deej just teaching how to leverage the discourse personality at 1 p.m. in the Lake Country training. And then finally, next week, Tuesday at the innovation office, there's a lunch and learn all around defining defects with Home Site Home Inspection, one of our preferred vendor partners in 2023. I've sat through this presentation a handful of times. I got to give it to Dave Colasari. It's a phenomenal presentation with a lot of ways in which that you can learn all around how to define defects, utilizing pictures. That's the best part. Instead of leveraging all of this sort of lingo and language and all this other stuff, he utilizes real life world examples as to how to define a defect. So make sure you check that out for the lunch and learn next week, Tuesday, March 14th at 11:30 over at the innovation office. All right. Lastly, next week, March 15th, pizza call day, 3 p.m. across all the offices. Be there or be square. You need to learn how to leverage that muscle and build it up as to how you call your clients. Come check it out, learn to do it with your peers and be a part of the conversation. All right. Last week, I talked all around family reunion, right? And what I dove deep into was the macro environment in which we all work and play in right now. Okay, what's going on from an economic standpoint? What's going on from a micro standpoint? What are we looking at? What are the trends that are driving the industry? And what did that look like? So this morning, I wanted to have a conversation with 4 really incredible people who spent time, energy, money, and investing of their time, energy, and money to attend family reunion. And I wanted to have a conversation with the group around their top takeaways and things they plan to implement today as it relates to their business and how they plan to charge the storm. So real quickly, before I get into that, because I forgot I put this into the deck, last week, I made a comment. Hey, we will send this out to you. Hey, we will send this out to you. And the team had to remind me, hey, Charlie, stop saying we will send this out to you. You look like an idiot when you don't send it out to the group, because instead of sending it out to the group, we have all the resources uploaded to our website through kwrealtymke.com. And when you go to the resources tab and people want to find the family reunion presentations around state of the company, the vision speech, the macro environment of all the economics that we presented last week, they can go to the website, find it under the resources tab, click on family reunion 2023, and everything they need to know, from the one-page systems to the playbooks to the vision speech, state of the company, and charge the storm, is all available to them. So it was a great reminder for me in terms of changing my communication style to remind the group, and I will continue to do so. Everything that you need and want in order to access is available to you on this website.
Everyone should bookmark that website.
bookmark the website. We will send it out. One other thing that I also want to point out that dropped last week was Ed Milet gave a keynote speech, and it was incredibly powerful, hour and a half. And they have uploaded it to YouTube for you. If you're not familiar with Ed Milet, as I wasn't before, Ed wrote an incredibly powerful book called The Power of One More, The Ultimate Guide to Happiness and Success. He also runs what I believe to be one of the most successful podcasts, interviews incredible people from all the sorts of different industries, all around how they found their success and how they continue to charge forward. It's an incredible speech that is available to you on the KW Realty MKE website in order to click through to the link. So if you're needing a little bit of a motivation, or you're stuck in a funk and you want to get out of that funk, throw it in your car, listen to it on the Bluetooth while you're driving. And the beauty of it is you can listen in 2X and get it done in 45 minutes. I'll tell you, it was a life-changing conversation. I would highly encourage you to check it out. So with that is what I led with, and then circle back to is I have an incredible panelist this morning who's going to jump in to share their actionable and implementable takeaways from family reunion. Schroeder, Schweppy, Champagne, and my brother Will. So Schroeder, I'm kicking it off with you. You lead a team of people. You're helping people charge the storm. What were some of your top key takeaways as it relates to family reunion of what you plan to implement in 2023?
All right. So family reunion was full of a ton of information, almost overwhelmingly so, but here's 3 big takeaways that I got from it. One was from Ed Milet's keynote. He said that it's not a lack of vision when it comes to your big goals down the line in your future amazing life. It's a lack of depth perception. And by that, he means success is closer than you think it is. Stop pushing it out. So thinking about big plans that we have, it's easy to put that on the sidelines when the market seems to be shifting or when challenges come up. But I'm really putting that front and center and making sure that I'm not pushing it out further. So if you've got big goals, don't let this market intimidate you. Put it in front of you, keep your big goals present, and act as if you are that person in that life. I think that applying those things now is going to get you there faster. The second thing I pulled was systems are key. Now, y'all, if you know me, you know I'm a big systems person. But one thing Gary said was create a system and name it and then tell people about it. So, we have lots of systems in our team, but we don't often talk about them with our clients. I mean, we say we're organized, we have systems, but to actually name it, to explain what it is and how it makes us different, and then, putting it out there to people as a specific type of program or system, I think was a really interesting approach and something we haven't really done. So we'll definitely be applying that. The last
Real quick,
thing,
Schroeder,
yep.
Stop there. When you talk about naming and branding your systems, I want to touch on this because everyone has them. And I think sometimes systems is a buzzword that people don't understand what it actually means. Okay. Talk about it as it relates to your team and one of the systems you have that you implement that sometimes your clients may not know or feel. And the light bulb moment for you was branding and making the system unique so that when they talk about you and the approach that you took, they're repeating the brand of the system that you implemented. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think, well, one that's obvious that I think we can all apply is how we market our listings. In the past, we've just called that our marketing. But calling it a, sales success program or something catchy like that, and explaining that this system has steps to it, everything's intentionally done. We do it for every listing, that it doesn't feel like this sort of collection of things that happen. That I think for people to process that, it's always better when it's presented as a system, as a program, to have all those boxes in a row and not just like, we do this, we do this, we do this too. But to have it, as one package. So that's definitely something that we're already putting into practice, and people have really responded. It's kind of wild how just changing the semantics of it really changes how people respond to it.
Totally. And I'm going to give one other thing that I think everybody can understand. Everybody has a buyer consultation approach. Do you name it and do you brand it, and is it unique to you? If it's not unique to you, you aren't any different than your peers. And his challenge and charge to the group was name and brand everything so that your system is unique to you and it's part of your value proposition and that you stand out different than your peers. Otherwise, you will continue to be average and you will get average results.
Yep,
All
exactly.
right, Schroeder, sorry to interrupt you. Third one.
Third one is related to lead generation, connecting with people. There was a panel and one of the panelists outlined this very easy to remember system. It's A, B, C. A is identify your audience. Who am I trying to reach? Target no more than 3 audiences. If you're thinking about your marketing and your lead generation, who are my audiences? A. B is bait the conversation, basically meaning have a script, have a message, have a dialogue in place and practice it, which I admittedly have not done up to this point. But practicing those dialogues, understanding what your message is, knowing it backwards and forwards, and having it very clear and consistent in whatever marketing or lead generation that you're doing was a big reminder for me that we really do need to practice and be extremely clear on that. And C is channel. So how are you connecting with people? Is it social media? Is it face-to-face at events? Are you making phone calls? Are you door knocking? What are your channels? And like Charlie mentioned last week, Gary said, successful agents have no more than 4 lead generation sources or forms. So don't overcomplicate it. Really, we're doubling down on the things that we do that have gotten us business historically. That's where our strengths are. And so we're just doubling down on those audiences, on those channels. We're refining our message and practicing it and having it ready for all of those different channels and being really, really clear on who our audience is.
Beautiful. Give us the ABCs again, Schroeder. A,
audience. B, bait the conversation. And C, channel. What channel are you using?
Beautiful. Appreciate it. Thank you for your top 3. Schweppes, what do you got? What are you taking back from family reunion and how do you plan to implement it?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So family reunion was, again, an amazing experience this year. I kind of went into it looking for inspiration on touches. And what are we doing this year to reach out to our database, to touch them on a personal level, looking to put some more consistency into my daily plan around touches. So I actually kind of just stumbled upon a panel that turned out to be the best panel I went to all weekend. And luckily it was one that had Tommy Choi and Wendy Papasan, 2 people who I just love listening to. Tommy Choi, who runs a fabulous business in Chicago. And you can really tell his touches are motivated by his love for his clients. So I took great notes at that panel and I pulled some great little nuggets from his discussion. And the first thing that really stood out to me was around events. Events are something that I'm really interested in developing for my systems and my business this year. I'm a really social guy. That's a really natural setting for me. So I want to get some more detail on what these guys are doing for events. One thing that really stood out for me that Tommy said was they do an annual event, one event that happens every single year, and it's the same event with not a whole lot of changes. And that kind of takes a lot of the pressure off for them in terms of planning and reinventing the wheel every year. So having one event that you do every single year kind of creates a little bit of a bonding consistency for your database where they actually plan around that event. So much so that if you don't do it, they come to you asking, hey, when is this happening, right? And it shouldn't be overcooked. I think a lot of us, especially me personally, kind of get bogged down in planning events because you want it to be perfect, right? I want it to have everything. I want it to have food. I want it to have giveaways. I want it to raise money. But really the point of the event isn't necessarily the event at all. It's the touches that happen around it. So in terms of having this annual event, you're calling your database and inviting them personally, you're texting them, you're emailing them, you're even maybe possibly sending a postcard with an RSVP. Right there, that's 4 touches around the event before you actually have the darn thing. If nobody shows up to the event, that's okay, because there are touches after. And if somebody didn't show up that was invited, after the event's over, there's a touch there. There's a handwritten note, there's a text, there's a phone call, email. Hey, sorry, we missed you, right? You're so important to us. We have this great event and, we really wanted to see you. What can we do to make sure we see you next time, kind of a thing. And that just makes people really feel really special. So that was number one that really jumped out to me, having an annual event, and then the touches around that event mattering more than the actual details of the event itself. The second thing that I pulled out was around quarterly calls, which is definitely something that's intimidating to me a little bit. When I'm going to my database and hitting that DTD2 tag, just kind of thinking, hey, like, what am I going to say to these people today without it coming off salesy, without feeling like I'm just asking for business constantly. So Tommy kind of broke down how they approach their quarterly calls and also their daily calls. So in Q1 and Q3, their call is actually an ask for business, but it's more of a survey, right? You're more of trying to gauge the health and mobility of your database from the beginning of the year going forward, and saying to them, hey, we're just checking in. Hope you had a great holiday season. We're trying to get a feel for, who in our database is considering a move this year. Do you guys feel like you're ready to move? How are you in the house? What can I help you with? Are you a year out, 3 years out, 5 years out? Where can I kind of put you? Which bucket can I put you guys in for mobility? And then of course, who do you know? Do you know somebody from work, from church, from an extracurricular that might be ready to move this year? We're kind of setting our goals and getting things ready to have a nice, clean, straightforward year for our clients. And then in Q2, it's not an ask at all. It's just the care call that we've all gotten really used to doing through the pandemic, right? Just calling and checking in on people, making sure they're healthy, making sure their work is good, and who can we refer to you to improve your quality of life and add value. So that's Q2. That's an easy one. Care calls, I feel like, go off without a hitch, super natural. And then in Q4, and this is the one I really like, was just gratitude. So really, you're only asking for business once a year, and everything else is just showing your clients love, just loving on your database as much as possible. And in Q4, that call is all about gratitude, right? This time of year, we always like to show gratitude for our clients. We served X amount of people. We're so honored to be in business with you. Thank you so much. Your support means the world to us. And a lot of times that creates a really wonderful conversation, and sometimes even comes back to real estate. So gratitude calls in Q4. And then outside of that, right, like when we're talking bold, got to make 20 contacts a day. Sometimes that's really intimidating, but I think on the most basic level, one phone call we can be making every single day is just a happy birthday call, right? If you don't have birthdays loaded into your database, you can go on Facebook, and Facebook is a wonderful engine for showing you whose birthday it is that day. You can use Messenger to reach out to them, get their phone number, complete their contact, and better yet, pick up the phone and have a quick personal conversation with them, wishing them a happy birthday. If you do that 5 times a day, you're in really good shape. You're ahead of the game. And then the third one was really simple, and this is just about a pop-by gift. And if you're not familiar with a pop-by, it's just an unannounced stop at somebody's home where you're dropping off a little something of value. One thing that holds me back from doing this sometimes is admittedly having to talk to them. So somebody on this panel was really great about, how they don't like to talk to people. They're kind of introverted, and pop-by is still something that they do, where they bring a little gift, a little $5 dollar store bag of goodies with a business card and a note. You leave it on the doorstep and you take a selfie right there on the porch with the gift, and then you text that selfie to the client or even post it and tag them. And that creates a conversation and could be one of your contacts for the day. So just a really simple pop by gets you out of the office, doing something nice for your client, tagging them, making content on social media, and generating a conversation from that little tiny touch. So those are my 3 takeaways.
What I love about it, it was all lead gen focused. And he's living at the top of the funnel to understand what he needs to do to put more into the top of the funnel. All right, Champagne, Aletha, what do you got? What was your key takeaways, and what were your top 3 things that you plan to implement in your business?
So, I mean, loved family reunion. If anyone knows me, I never miss family reunion or mega camp. This one was probably one of the best yet because there's substantially more breakout sessions than there had been in years past. One of my takeaways was I need to date command a little bit and marry it and make that commitment a little stronger. For a while I was super proud to say I'm never in command outside of writing offers. That's my director of ops. And the updates on what they're doing for tags and some of the panels that I went to was really like, get nitty gritty with your tagging of your clients. Like what they're, do they have a pet? How many kids do they have? Like kind of more get in the minutia of their clients' lives and use tags to assign that, because then, like Schweppy said with Popeyes, you can systematize, okay, I'm going to the garden store today for myself, who's interested in gardening, and kind of, parcel off those clients. And when you're there, get something for those clients. The other thing, one thing I'm implementing is spending a lot of time in command. I've been time blocking, updating my contacts a lot more since I've been back. The other thing is regarding events. I think we as a team do a lot of events, one per quarter, but I think where we're gonna change is kind of making more client niched events. So as opposed to just implementing, we have this event, come here, you've our past client. We're doing more kind of one-on-one intimate groups. That was one agent on a panel was talking about how they really find that then they're able to connect with their clients more at the event. So we'll be implementing kind of smaller, more niched events going forward. And then lastly was systems. My team has a systems coach, so we're already pretty systems driven, but really writing down like everything that you do from when you get a referral from a client and how you're responding and making that connection to the referral all the way to the closing table. So, I think we throw around the phrase systems a lot in this business, and people just think like, okay, everyone has a buyer consult, right? But we're talking like niched systems, like what your text message looks like when you're getting that introduction and how you're responding, and documenting every single phase of it so it's replicatable. And then it just takes all the thinking away as you hopefully get busy because you're lead genning harder through command and following up. So
Beautiful. Aletha, thank you. Appreciate sharing the feedback. All right, Will, what's the last one? What are the top 3 takeaways? What do you plan to implement?
My first takeaway was it was awesome to be roommates with my brother again for in a while. It's been quite some time. He is the messier one. We'll put that on the record.
I'll tell you, just to make you laugh, you don't realize when you share a room with someone for 15 to 20 years, old habits die hard when you share a room with your brother.
Yeah, we kind of went back into our sloppy ways, but it was great. All right, I'll jump in. The first thing for me, I mean, I'm a big mindset guy. I go to these events to get the energy, get the mindset, and obviously take away a few things to implement. One of the things that I really loved that I heard was the way to create certainty in uncertain times is to have a routine. And I think for myself, at least for the past couple of years, it's been run and gun. The market's been great. We've all been pushing units, and this year's the first time where I had to sit back and create a routine so that I can have consistency in my day without letting the market take over. Because I think, with how difficult sometimes it can be to get things under contract at the moment, if you don't have a routine, something to fall back on with the daily routine with yourself, your health, your wealth, and even with your clients too, when there's not as much information to be sharing with them with the lack of inventory, what are you doing to stay in touch, stay top of mind, and keep them, engaged? So that was a big one for me is to create a routine, get back to a routine, and a daily practice. The other thing that I really liked, that I heard is in uncertain times, if you focus on doing the same number of units that you did last year, you're actually going to be growing. And I thought that was profound for me, because so often are we pushing ourselves to say, hey, we're stepping up to that next level. What's the next level? What's the next level? And if we say, hey, the market it's a fact that there's gonna be less units transacted this year, just based on the sheer numbers of it. If you focus on doing what you have done the past year, if it was a good year for you, whatever that means, you are growing. And I thought that was a great way to look at it, especially as we all start to evolve and shift with this market. And the last thing was more an actual implementable thing that I thought was really interesting is someone was talking about doing digital client events. Keeping it simple to like a 15, 20, 30-minute client event where you bring on a speakers bureau. You do it like once a month, whether you bring someone who comes in to talk about various different industries, not real estate specific. You're the one that's leading it, and do it during the day in the afternoon. Because a lot of times you've got clients that are at their desks or they're, working from home or have more fluid schedules. Do it during the day. Have someone come in, give 15 to 20 minutes, be the catalyst for bringing new information to your clients, not just real estate specific. And that way you're the connector that's forming these relationships, building a community, and staying in front of your people. Because I think so often for us, it's pushing what is real estate, what's going on in real estate. Everyone's hearing different things, but if you can bring in other people while leveraging, I know we want to get back to in person, but I think a lot of people would jump on to a 15 to 20 minute Zoom. It's a lot less time commitment for them. Bring in that industry expert. And then you're the one that's, introducing them, wrapping it up. And on that note, honestly, the last thing that I'll say is that I really like that I heard was relationships that matter are a daily practice. So focusing on those 10, your top 10, your top 15 relationships, and make sure you're staying in touch with those people. Go deep with the people that you serve, that serve you, and don't be afraid to ask for help. That's the biggest takeaways I've got.
Beautiful. Guys, what I love about the 4 different people that you heard from today, Schroeder was really all around systems and approach. Schweppe was all about his lead generation tactics and things that he can do and implement. Champagne, Aletha was all around how she is intentional and purposeful around her database and things that she can do to go deeper. And Will's was all around the mindset and his approach of how to stay motivated within the market. I think that's the beauty of what we try and bring to you is diversity of thought and diversity of approach. So Schroeder, Schweppe, Aletha, Will, thank you guys for pouring into the group and sharing of your time, talent, and energy from the investments that you made to go out to California. And for those interested in family reunion next year, save the date. It's always President's Day weekend. It's in Vegas. So if you like what you heard and you're interested in hearing what's going on, or you're just a creature for nightlife, Vegas is a spot to be. With that, guys, that's your team meeting this week. Next week, I'll go through the systems all around how do you charge the storm? What does it look like if you systematize charging the storm? There was an incredible presentation that Gary and Jay put forth that I'll walk the group through next week, along with a conversation of Keller Concierge and the equity program of where your clients can borrow up to $75,000 with 0% interest to put money into the equity of their house. And in the event that they need to make some remodel or cosmetic updates to help them maximize the return when they come to the listing market. So stay tuned for that next week on March 14th. North Shore and Lake and Innovation Crew, I'll let you jump over to the new listings, and Lake Country Crew, we will jump over to the Lake Country meetup. Have a beautiful day, guys. Enjoy the sunshine, get out some fresh air, and take in some vitamin D. Have a great day, guys.